What up, world? Welcome to another show. BrandonJaneauShow. As you know, I am Brandon Janeau, like always on all podcast platforms everywhere. BrandonJaneauShow. Social media. Instagram threads, real. BrandonJaneauShow. That's real. BrandonJaneauShow. REAL. BrandonJaneauShow. That's Instagram and threads. Facebook, the BrandonJaneauShow. And of course, TikTok, BrandonJaneauShow. Go follow me on all those social media platforms. I would appreciate if you did. Really, way you go though is the YouTube channel, man. BrandonJaneauShow YouTube channel. Subscribe, comment, like the vids, like the shorts. All helps in the algorithm. If you do, and I would appreciate it if you did. Uh, so let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. Let's talk. Let's talk today. This is bleed sports. I know it's Wednesday. It's not Tuesday. It's not even Monday. It is Wednesday, but it's still I bleed sports, man. But this is I bleed sports. It's completely different than my other I bleed sports. This is just strictly about basketball. Football tomorrow will have their day in the sun when it comes to me because I will be doing my NFL schedule show, NFL schedule release, the NFL schedule will be released tomorrow. And of course, I got I bleed, no, bleed black and gold. Also, is coming out later on this weekend. So both of those episodes will be out this weekend. So if you're looking forward to seeing those two, that's where Bleed Black and Gold is the Saints. And I'll be talking about the Saints, just fully the Saints schedule on Bleed Black and Gold. But I Bleed Sports next. I did this last year, but I Bleed Sports, the NFL schedule release show. That shit took like 2-3 hours, like by myself. I wrote down Monday night, Sunday night, Thursday night. I wrote down international games. I wrote out a lot, man. So bear with me. Um, Whereas the NFL schedule release and pretty much the NFL schedule release, they've been basically telling us certain games for this upcoming season. But tomorrow is the official 100% NFL schedule release. So I don't know if I'm gonna do it live or just wait till they release Monday. Because again, I'm doing only holiday games and international games and prime and Thursday and Saturday and Sunday. They got a Thanksgiving Eve game this year, which is gonna be pretty intriguing. I forgot who playing that. I gotta see that. Yeah, the international games have been scheduled. Uh, Again, we don't know particularly Monday night schedule. They said that the opening matchup will be Kansas City versus Denver. That's the first night. So we shall see what is going to happen this upcoming tomorrow. And like I said, tomorrow, maybe Friday, I probably will do Bleed Black and Gold, and then that would be the 2 episodes out for that. But no NFL on this particular episode, even though I just talked about the NFL. Uh, but this is basketball, man. A lot of things have been going on in both worlds of basketball, the women and the men. And so I will be talking about it. I didn't talk about it last week. I will talk about the Boston Celtics and what should they do with their future. Is it time to maybe split up Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown? Is it time? Uh, I'll talk about the Philadelphia 76ers getting swept by the Knicks. I talk about the Lakers and LeBron and his future. I talk about the Sixers' future. Giannis is officially on the trading block. Um, should the number one team, the team that has the number one pick in the draft, should they maybe think about going and get him? Uh, I'll talk about the playoffs, of course. Of course, Game 5 is tonight between the Cavs and the Pistons. Game 5 was last night of the Spurs and the Timberwolves, and Spurs are very close to meeting the OKC Thunder. Talk about the Knicks. Will the Knicks is the series between the Cavs and the Pistons actually hurting the Knicks, or is it helping the Knicks? Talk about that. Got a lot of talk about basketball, man. A lot of basketball talk on this show today. So much going on. But let's start it off with what I said, obviously. The W, man. The NBA. WNBA, exactly. The WNBA is back. It is officially back, man. There's only been, what, 2, 3 games so far played already in the W so far. It's great, man, to have the WNBA back. Of course, new cities officially introduced to the W. You got Portland with the Fire. You got the Toronto Temp. Toronto Temp. That is what it's called. Toronto Temp. Um, got another team. It might be the only two. Of course, go to State. Valkyries are there. Last year's team. You got a couple more teams coming into the W the next couple of years. But it's pretty cool to see WNBA finally back, man. It's pretty great to see it. We've been waiting to see how this is going to look and play out for the last all season. To have these women back at the peak is pretty great, man. It's pretty great. The first couple of games have taught me one thing, and that is I don't know who the fuck winning the title. The New York Liberty have not yet been at full strength. We have not seen Sabrina Ionescu yet. Brianna Stewart is there. She's doing her job. She's doing what she do. But we haven't seen the New York Liberty at its full peak yet. And I'm looking forward to see how they're going to look when they're finally, at their full peak. If you're looking at the first couple of games, it is hard to tell who's going to win. I mean, like I said, the Liberty aren't at their peak yet. The Aces' first game looked like a celebration. It looked like they were just predicated just celebrating the trophy, winning the ring, and that's great. But you still had a game to play, and the Phoenix Mercury wiped y'all the fuck off the floor. Like it wasn't even fucking close. Like it wasn't even close. If we're going off of the first impression, the Chicago Sky. I mean, if they play like that all season, with Skylar Diggins and Skylar Diggins, Rika Jackson, and Camilla, that's a dangerous fucking team. Like that's a scary league. That's a scary, scary, dangerous fucking team. Because you got 3 scores and 3 people that can do it all. So it's kind of interesting to see how that's going to look moving forward. But like I said, if you look at the first 2, 3 games, there's no clear cut like this is the best team. Like over the last couple of years, we've seen, Phoenix. I don't want to say Phoenix. We've seen New York. We've seen the Aces. We've seen Connecticut. We've seen certain teams just start off like a fucking house on fire. And you're just like, Minnesota last year. Minnesota Lynx last year was that team, right? Where you looked at them like they were like, damn, they might be the most dominant fucking team they might be the most dominant fucking team, like God Almighty. And so it's stuff like that. And so I'm looking at this from that perspective, and I'm saying to myself, yeah, even though it's been 2, 3 games in the W, there's still no team that I feel like is really establishing who they are yet. And maybe that's a good thing for the W because right now it feels like everybody's at a competitive balance. And that's something that rarely, especially in a league that's supposed to be, in a league that's not so supposedly watched and all this other shit, it's the most competitive. Like it's insane. It's the most competitive because we don't know who's going to walk out the W. We have no idea. It could be Seattle, could be Atlanta, could be Dallas, could be Indiana. We don't know, and I think that's the beauty of this league right now, and that's a good thing. Last week, and I was going to do this last week, but I didn't get a chance to do it last week. Last week there was a lot of talk, a lot of communication, a lot of people in their feelings last week. Um, because one, the WNBA did a survey of I think GMs and some players maybe over who they had winning the MVP in the WNBA and also who was the best point guard in the WNBA, best guard, point guard, whatever you want to call it. And obviously, people got in their feelings. Obviously, people got in their feelings because these GMs, players, didn't choose Caitlin Clark to be either the MVP or to be the best guard in the WNBA. And I saw a lot of people getting their feelings over this. A lot of people getting their feelings over this. And I'm like, why y'all mad at the people that's actually watching her? You don't think that's a little bit fucking weird? That y'all are so predicated on feeling some type of way about the people that's supposedly hating on her. I don't know the fuck that came from. That you are not even paying a fucking attention to what the fuck you're actually saying. I see a lot of people do this. A lot of fucking people have done this. Where there's so many people that are in their damn feelings that they didn't have her at the, winning the MVP or winning the MVP or or being labeled as the best, you know, the best guard in the league. So many people were just up in freaking arms about this, which I didn't understand. I'm like, why are y'all mad about this? You're not mad at a lot of things, but you're mad about this? Because again, people have created in their minds that this girl's supposed to be the greatest thing on the planet. And which brings me to a lot of people now having this conversation. And I see a lot of people now having this outright conversation about her. It's kind of interesting. And it took a game. It took a game, man. And I'm gonna tell you why it took a game. Because this is something that I've been knowing that was gonna happen at some point. And that is I think Caitlyn is just like a lot of this generation basketball players. What does that mean, Brandon? I think y'all give people that are really offensively equipped a lot more credit than actual, genuine, all around basketball players. Kaylin is an incredible, incredible offensive weapon. That's all she is. That's all she is. She's not a super great defender. She's actually very bad at how can I say this without getting people upset? I already got there, so I might as well just keep going. Let me say it like this. By the end of the season, Paige Beckers is going to replace Caitlin Clark. By the end of the season, Paige Beckers is going to replace Caitlin Clark. What do I mean by that? What do you mean by that, Brandon? What the hell do you mean by that? I think by the end of the season, Paige Beckers is going to replace Caitlin Clark as the face of the league. And it's not because people want to give it to her. She's going to take it. I'm looking at how I'm looking at how the Wings played Saturday, right? How the Wings played Saturday was phenomenal, right? They played pretty incredible basketball. What hurt Caitlin Clark and what hurt the Indiana Fever is that, and this is something that people don't want to admit, people are starting to pick up on what Caitlin Clark is. They know she can't defend. They know that. They know she's not a great defender. So they know that she can't defend. So what are they doing? They're now picking on her. They're now picking on her. And because they can do that, because they can do it, because you're not going to take off the floor in the most important moments because you feel like she's the scorer, she's the shooter, she's the distributor. Because she's now become so teams have teams, coaches, everybody has watched this girl. And they have particularly watched how to play her. And I think that right there is her fucking downfall. Because now people are picking up on it. And they are going to tire her ass out. The one knock on her is that she's not particularly great at decision making, despite what people believe. She's, oh, Brandon, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. She's great at decision making. No, she's not. She's not great at decision making. She, if you have 12 assists in a game, but you have 6 fucking turnovers, you're not that great at decision making, man. You're not, bro. The fact of the matter is, teams are starting to pick up on her. And they're starting to realize, oh, if we do this to her, and plus on top of that, she was never a great defender to begin with. So it's very easy to already pick on her. But now I think teams are starting to realize just go at her. When you watch the Dallas game, and every time somebody got the ball for 5 straight possessions, they scored. You don't think teams realize that? You don't think people have saw that and watched that and said, okay, okay. I feel like the narrative that has been painted around her has been she's the savior of the league. She's the savior. She's the savior. Why don't y'all give her that credit? And I've been saying this for a very long time. This shit is going to end bad, bro. I kept saying this. The reason why I think Paige Beckers is going to replace Caitlin Clark as the face of the league is because Paige Beckers is what y'all think Caitlin Clark is. Paige Beckers is what y'all think Caitlin Clark is. Paige Beckers has always been the best player. She's always been the best player. She was the number one fucking recruit out of U when she went to UConn. She's the number one fucking recruit. If she doesn't tear ACL, she probably comes out the year that Caitlin Clark comes out, and she's probably the number one fucking player. Like, Paige Becker has always been better. And when you saw that Saturday, I wasn't surprised by it. I already knew that Paige Beckers wasn't better than Caitlin Clark. I mean, Paige Beckers is better than Caitlin Clark. I always knew Paige Beckers was better than Caitlin Clark. But when you watched it Saturday, you finally saw it. And I don't know why the WNBA thought that was a good idea to put them on at prime time. But Paige Beckers is more efficient. She's more aware of the situation. She's actually a playmaker. She can defend. And this is everything that people swear to God Caitlin Clark is. I think what people are starting to realize is Caitlin Clark is a great offensive weapon. That's it. She can't defend. She can't defend. She can't defend. She's not particularly. I think I saw on TikTok today somebody was like, she still can't go left. She still is a turnover machine. And now her game is starting to become very dependent on the refs. We're seeing it in the NBA. A lot of these people are looking for a fucking foul every 5 seconds. It's like, bro, just play the fucking game. Like, it's going to happen. Just play the game. But she's always looking for a foul. And then when she gets called for a foul, she acts like nothing's happened. What the fuck do you mean I'm getting fouled? It's like, that's the problem. Thank you, Caitlin Clark, for helping these women get the league to a point where now people can sit here and genuinely have a conversation about the actual WNBA. For those that weren't paying attention to it, thank you, Caitlin Clark. But the reason why I also feel like Paige Beckers is going to surpass her, because I'm starting to realize and I'm starting to see, I think that the league is starting to get past her. I think that the league is starting to get past her. It's not a diss to her. I think the league is just getting past her. I don't think that people really put this into perspective. Look at the women that came into the league this offseason. Look at the women that came into the league just this offseason. Look at them. You got a lot of young, incredible young women that are starting to kind of figure out who they are. Olivia Miles, who's playing for the I want to say the Lynx. Bruh, are y'all watching her? Like, she was a beast at TCU. But she killing it right now. Like, yeah, like it's insane to watch that girl play. But this is the thing about this. Like, I think people are so predicated in trying to make. I think the league, and we see this with a lot of players. I won't say you're a flash in the pan, but I think with Caitlin Clark, I think what you're starting to realize is that, like, oh, her game doesn't really translate. Like, if she's hot, if she's hot from the field, it's going to work in her favor. She's going to be okay. The game is going to naturally just come to her. But if she has, you know, kind of, unofficial, like the game she had Saturday, right? Her game isn't particularly efficient. She's shooting 36% from the field. She has 5 turnovers, 20 points. It's like, oh shit. People are debating this now, saying, I don't know if she's the best player in Indiana. She was never the best player in Indiana. Again, it goes into that's what the media kept telling everybody. She's the best player. She's not. She's not the best player. She is an incredible offensive weapon. But that's about it. That's it. She's an incredible offensive weapon. But that's about it. I think Paige Becker's going to pass her. I think the league is starting to pass her. I think people don't want to admit that. The league is starting to pass Caitlin Clark by because they're starting to now get more athletic. They're starting to get more of that feel of like eyes are on us. We got to show what we capable of. Caitlin Clark is always going to put up the numbers. She's going to have triple doubles and all this other shit. And people are going to scream that she's the greatest thing since sliced fucking bread. That's just the way it's going to be till she decides to stop playing or until the league starts to realize, oh, she was cool. Like, she was a good player. Like, she had her moments. And that's it. But you can't tell anybody that yet because they still are fascinated by who she is. But in reality, Paige Beckers is going to pass her by the end of this season. I think the Wings can make it to the finals. I don't think the Fever can. Like I don't think the Fever can. I think the Wings can make it to the finals. I think once they figure out how to use uh Fudd, once they figure out how to use her and like physically use her with Paige, that fucking team is gonna hit the fuck man. That team will be good. It's gonna be scary how fast that shit goes. I think people, and I've said this numerous times about the Fever. If Caitlin Clark is your second to third option offensively, that's a great thing. If Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston are your first or two options, that's a great thing. Because now your offense isn't predicated on Caitlin Clark always having a ball in her hands. She can now go spot up. See, this is the thing about people that keep screaming, she's like Steph Curry. No, she's not. She needs the ball in her hands. She can't just spot up and then shoot. She needs the ball in her hands. She's more like James Harden. She needs the ball in her hands. Now, people that sit there and say, well, look at her when she gets through screens. She's not particularly strong enough to get through the screen. That's why she's pushing the fuck off. She can play. That's not the conversation here. But where the problem kicks in is when people try to sit here and tell everybody she's the face of the league. She's the greatest thing on the planet. She's the reason why the W is successful. Now you are starting to look at this 3 years now. She's been in the league now. This is her third year. I think the league is starting to pass her by. And it's not a diss to her. It's the fact that just because she can shoot the ball doesn't mean the league isn't still advancing past her. She can't play defense. She's not particularly well versed in being a playmaker. If the offense is predicated off of her, yeah, it may work, but it actually works better when Kelsey Mitchell is actually the driving force. And you can kind of use Caitlin Clark if she could be a spot up shooter. But that's not who she is. She needs the ball in her hands because she can't be a spot up shooter. That's not who the fuck she is. She needs the ball in her hands to be a playmaker, to make the moves. And now that she can't do that, now that the league is starting to realize, okay, and again, your liability on defense. So what happens when you see offensive players like a Caitlin Clark? What do teams do? They go at you because they understand that at some point you're gonna get worn down. You're gonna get tired, and your legs are gonna be gone. By the time look at what they did with Steph Curry. When Steph Curry wasn't particularly a really great, defender early in his career. What did they do to Steph Curry? They put him in pick and rolls. Why? Because he could not score. He was a great scorer, wasn't a great defender. He's gotten better. Hopefully, Caitlin Clark gets better. But that's the thing about this situation that people do not understand. Like, bro, I've seen great offensive weapons. Luka, James Harden. We've all seen them. We've all seen great offensive players. But there was a reason for why people kept screaming, you can score 30, but I can score 30 on you too. people are now starting to realize this. Oh wow, Caitlin Clark can't really defend. She's never was a great defender. Iowa did enough to hide her. And like I said, Indiana Fever have to figure out a way to now hide her on defense. That's the only way you get to win these games. Because if she's actually not only the premier ball handler, she's always going to be used in a pick and roll situation. She's always going to be used in a hit you in the mouth situation because they're always going to pick on her. Whoever got the ball, they're going to always have the better matchup because they're going to go at her, which makes it worse for her in the Indiana Fever, which is why I say you need to get the ball out of hands and she actually has to learn how to be a spot up shooter. She can't just be your playmaker all day. She has to learn how to be a spot up shooter because if she's not a good spot up shooter and all you can do with her is have the ball in her hands, and that's going to end badly for you. And I know people are going to sit there and say, oh, you just hating. Nigga, you don't know what you're talking about. James Harden, Luka Doncic, Caitlin Clark. Great offensive shooters, great offensive weapons. But when it came down to clutch time, what happened? They can score, they can't fucking defend. And that's a problem. Caitlin Clark is an incredible offensive weapon. She can't fucking defend. Her game is not as well versed as everybody screamed it was. She's not an all-around great player. She is a good offensive weapon. She can score the fuck out the basketball if she's engaged. And I think that's another thing. I don't think she's really engaged in these games like that. I don't think she gives a fuck about the WNBA like that. It's something that she has to do. She's doing it. I don't think she gives a fuck about the WNBA. I don't think she gives a single solitary fuck. Who am I? NBA. I've said this numerous times. There's a lot of things going on in the NBA. A lot of stuff happening. So let's get this out the goddamn way. Let's just start it off right out the gate. The Milwaukee Bucks. Milwaukee has officially announced that Giannis Antetokounmpo is up for trade. This comes after weeks, months, years of people speculating what the fuck are they going to do with Giannis Antetokounmpo. Well, we finally got the answer. Giannis is officially up for a trade. The question becomes, what is Milwaukee going to get for Giannis? But more importantly, where should Giannis want to go? Now, of course, everybody does the usual shit. He should go to the Lakers. He should go to the Knicks. Not every player needs to go to a high market team just because you want them to go to a high market team. That's stupid. Giannis should go to a team that he actually believes he can win a championship with. And if he can't win a championship with the Lakers, because he won't be able to win a championship with the Lakers, despite what people fucking swear to God they can. Luka and Giannis will be I don't think Luka and Giannis be a good team at all. I'm sorry to tell y'all that. I know people would swear to God they would be a good team. That would be a god awful team. It would be bad. It would be a bad team. Luka and Giannis would be a really bad team. As good as Giannis can play off the ball, Luka isn't really a particularly great off the ball player. And again, I just said it about Caitlin Clark. She's not a But Luka, same thing with Luka. Luka's not a great offensive, defensive player. So you put Giannis in a way worse situation where now Giannis has to do more than what the fuck he needs to do. And now you put Giannis in a really fucked up situation. So I don't understand putting Giannis on in LA. What the fuck that would do for Giannis? I don't get it. I don't understand why people swear to God that's a good idea. I think that's a dumbass idea. There's nothing Giannis can do in LA with Luka. Luka's not a great defender. And then on top of that, what the fuck are you trading to get Giannis in LA? If it's not Luka, like Luka's the only piece if I'm Milwaukee that I would even take. The fuck am I taking from the Lakers that isn't Luka Doncic? That's fucking stupid. If you trade anybody from, I really mean it. Like if you trade anybody from the Lakers that isn't Luka, you just lost. You just lost the fucking plot. Like you just lost the plot. Giannis is not going to the Lakers. Let's get that out the way. That shit's stupid. So let's kill that conversation right here, right now. I see a lot of people saying the Knicks. Who you trading for the Knicks? You gonna trade Karl-Anthony Towns? That's the only piece I could see you trading. Karl-Anthony Towns, Mikal Bridges, and OG Anunoby. You're not keeping Karl-Anthony Towns if Giannis is on the table. I don't give a fuck if you win a championship this year or not. Jalen Brunson and Giannis will make way more sense than Karl-Anthony Towns and fucking Jalen Brown. I mean Jalen Brunson. So my question becomes again: if you are Giannis, where do you want to go? And I've said this numerous times. There's a couple teams he could go. I told y'all this. The number one team for me is the Minnesota Timberwolves. Excuse me. Minnesota is the number one team. You have the assets. You don't have to trade your number one player because you have the assets. You could trade Julius Randle and Rudy Gobert. You can trade both of them. You can trade DeSumo, who you got this trade deadline. You can trade DeSumo, and you could trade a pick or two for Giannis, and it would make sense. And then Giannis goes to Minnesota, and you have Anthony Edwards and Giannis Antetokounmpo. And the one knock on the Minnesota Timberwolves so far this postseason is they can't stop Victor Wembanyama. Why? Because Rudy Gobert is a offensive liability. He's always been an offensive liability. He can't fucking do anything. But if you got a Giannis going up against a Victor Wembanyama, Victor now will have to actually worry about not just defensively, not just his offense, but his defense. And then you put people in a predicament, particularly with Anthony Edwards and Jaden McDaniels. Now I can see them maybe trading Jaden McDaniels to sweeten the deal, but then I'm keeping DeSumo. Somebody's got to stay. I'm not trading you all that, and I just get Giannis. That's no. We gotta we gotta do something, man. No. But Minnesota's always been a team I've always said if I was the Minnesota Timberwolves, I would go get Giannis. It's not even close. I got Anthony Edwards. I got a piece here that I know I would easily succeed with. Giannis is one. Minnesota's one. The other team. It's the team that's playing tonight, and that's the Detroit Pistons. You got Cade Cunningham. I like Jalen Duren. But outside of that, Detroit really just needs shooting. But if you decide to make the decision to trade, it would make sense. You got Cade Cunningham. You got Giannis. You just need to find the shooting and defense to go along with it. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Pistons is the team that looks at especially if they lose this series to Cleveland. You're gonna look at what happened in Cleveland and say the reason why we couldn't score or we couldn't get anything in those 2 games in Cleveland or these last 4 games against the Cleveland Cavaliers because Cade Cunningham is, even though he's great, he needs a actual realistic piece. He needs someone to get downhill. And Giannis is the perfect person to get downhill. He's not afraid of the moment. And he would actually put uh he would actually put the Cleveland Cavaliers, let's say Cleveland, right? He would put them in a disadvantage from the ability that he has because of Gillis. Now you can't just double team Cade Cunningham. You can't just double team Cade Cunningham. Now you know that because Giannis is there. The problem with the Detroit Pistons is there's no one to take the ball out of Cade Cunningham's hands and become a threat. That's the biggest problem with Detroit. They have no other threat. So if Giannis is there, and then again, you got the pieces. You can trade Jalen Darn. You can trade the other Thompson brother. You can trade some pieces and get Giannis. And it would work. The other team that I can see Giannis getting traded to is a team that a lot of people might not think of. Just depending on if they could get it done. And that's the Indiana Pacers. Indiana Pacers. Now, a lot of people probably say, you think Giannis want to go from Milwaukee to fucking Indiana? Now, that sounds crazy, but look at Indiana. Tyrese Halliburton is coming back. You know that. And then look at Indiana. They have Pascal Siakam, and you got Zubats. You can make the decision to trade one or both and get Giannis. And I would not be surprised if they do it. Like you bring in back Tyrese Halliburton and then you add Giannis. That's a crazy ass thing, and a crazy ass thing. And the last team is the Boston Celtics. Now that shit sounds unfair as fuck. I know, but something's going to happen during this offseason. Either Jalen Brown and the Boston Celtics are going to come to an agreement that this shit just isn't working, or he's going to stay. But something's going to have to happen. I can see Jalen Brown and Giannis both being traded. The problem with that is, again, it goes to the question of, okay, you give me Jalen Brown. What else? I'm cool with Jalen Brown. I would take Jalen Brown. But what else? And that's what the problem with kicking. Now, I said, should the team with the first pick think about trading the first pick to go get Giannis? And that is the Washington Wizards. They won the draft lottery. They have the number one pick in what people have perceived as one of the best drafts, NBA drafts in a long time. If you are Washington, do you make that decision? I would think about it. The reason why I would think about it is because you got Trae Young there. Me personally, I would trade Anthony Davis with the number one pick. I know that sounds absolutely fucking insane. I would trade Anthony Davis and the number one pick for Giannis and the 10th pick overall because Milwaukee's at the 10th pick. And that's what the fuck I would do. With the first pick, you don't have to pick something so crazy. The first pick, everybody's saying like it doesn't matter who you pick, it's gonna be a hit. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I don't trust that. I don't know about that. I don't trust that shit. Uh-uh. I need guarantees, nigga. I don't know what you're talking about. I I would I would maybe think about doing that trade. No, it sounds crazy, but you pick 10th in this draft. It's not insane as it sounds. It's not like like the last couple of drafts where you're like you get to 10th and you're like, oh my god, we're scrambling for shit. 10, you still got a good amount of places on the board. You might have Caleb Wilson from North Carolina, or you might have, maybe Daryl Peterson from Kansas. Maybe he falls because so many teams are a little bit more like, I don't know about maybe taking this kid. You never know. Still got Cam Thomas also there from Brooklyn, who you signed late last year when they released him. So, yeah. Speaking of Boston, speaking of Boston, Boston, Boston. Boston lost to the Philadelphia 76ers. I didn't get a chance to talk about this because, I didn't talk about it. Boston Celtics lost to the Philadelphia 76ers in the playoffs. And immediately, the conversation became, who did we point the finger at? I said this, what, couple weeks ago, that I felt like Jason Tatum at some point was not going to be there when they needed him the most. I said Jason Tatum is going to not be there when they need him the most. The reason why I said that is because I'm like, bro, I'm looking at it from the perspective of, so you're telling me you're coming off of a torn Achilles, and you expect me to believe that you're gonna just pop up and play in a playoffs and nothing's going to hurt you. There's nothing that I have to worry about. That's insane. I never understood that. So he misses game 7 and they lose. Boston loses in game 7. Um, a lot of people have asked this question, right? What now with Boston? What do you do now with Boston? The one thing that people has been immediately saying is it time to blow the Celtics up? It's time to blow the Celtics up. Do I think it's time to build the Celtics up? I think the conversation that needs to be had is if the Boston Celtics are going to go in a direction of where Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown might be kind of going into a split, right? And now you're starting to ask the question of, okay, so who is the guy? Who's going to be the one to carry the team, the franchise moving forward? And for me, I've said this numerous times. I think Jalen Brown would have a better career without Jason Tatum than Jason Tatum without Jalen Brown. Jalen Brown had 1 year where he didn't have Jason Tatum. He had to worry about giving the ball to somebody else. He didn't have to worry about anything. He has been the leader. He was the leader of the team. And I have said this numerous times about Jason Tatum. As much as people want to give Jason Tatum all his praise, what the fuck has Jason Tatum actually done since his rookie year to give him all this praise? What has he done? Nobody wants to have these conversations. They just want to patch it up and say, "What is Jason Tatum?" What the fuck does that mean, nigga? I never understood that. Like, so you're telling me Jason Tatum just gets a pass, even though he's done absolutely fucking nothing. Jason Tatum has done exactly the amount of shit that Jalen Brown has done. Actually, I've seen Jalen Brown without Jason Tatum, and he looks great without Jason Tatum, which makes me question. So who the fuck is the guy again? Who's the true face of the team? Who's that actual face of the fucking team? Because I feel like a lot of y'all that sit here and say it's Jason Tatum. Is it? Because I've seen Jalen Brown without Jason Tatum, and he looks pretty fucking good. I mean, what Jason Tatum got? I think Jason Tatum got Jalen Brown got hurt 1 year, and they didn't make the playoffs. Might have been his Jason Tatum's second year in the league, and they didn't even make the playoffs because Jalen Brown wasn't there. So when are we gonna have this conversation? When are we really actually gonna have this conversation? Because I feel like a lot of people don't want to have this conversation. I feel like if you break up the Boston Celtics, if you break up those two, I have a feeling Jalen Brown is gonna have a way better career than Jason Tatum. And I don't think people are really ready to have that conversation. Jason Tatum is Kevin Durant, a great, great scorer. The boy could put the ball in the hoop. He's a Kevin Durant. Where the fucking problem lies is we've seen Kevin Durant, and we've now known that Kevin Durant is great, but he ain't a leader. And I'm not saying that saying Jason Tatum can't lead the Boston Celtics. No, he could probably do it. But I've never seen Jason Tatum lead the Boston Celtics without Jalen Brown. And that's where the fuck the problem lies. I've seen Jalen Brown now lead the Boston Celtics without Jason Tatum. And they were winning. And they were winning. They were fucking winning. Not like they dipped. It's not like they had a fall off. So I asked the question, why do we hold Jason Tatum to some standard that he's never fucking lived up to? But yet we treat Jalen Brown like he's just some guy that's just a part of the team that's being rode on a Jason Tatum coattails. That's bullshit. Yeah, if they break up, I think Jalen Brown will have a way better career than Jason Tatum. I think we would see Jason Tatum do exactly what Kevin Durant has done. He will be on a team trying to figure his shit out, and he'd be like, "Oh, I can't. Oh, I need somebody to help me. I can't just do this on my own." Because imagine teams actually game planning to stop just Jason Tatum. You think the pressure's on bad for him now? It get extremely worse. Let's bring me to the team that beat them and sent them home, and that is the Philadelphia 76ers. Philly. Philly got swept by the Knicks. Philly got swept by the Knicks in the Eastern Conference semifinals. A lot of people can sit there and say Philly should have never even made it that far with the season that they had had. I mean, same thing with Jason Tatum being hurt in the first round at the last second. Joel Embiid, uh, who had been dealing with injuries all through the year, made somewhat of a difference in that Boston series. But then he just wasn't there for game, what, 2 and 3, I think it was. I think he played game one. He played 1 and 4, and he just wasn't there 2 and 3. Philly today fired their GM Dan Murray. Daniel Daniel Murray is officially out as the Philadelphia GM. They hired him because of James Harden. James Harden ain't been on the team in like 2 years, 2, 3 years. So you hired him for James Harden, and he hasn't been on the team in like 2 years. Okay. Joel Embiid was talking after the game. After the series is over, he said he kind of sounded defeated. He just sounded like, man, I don't even know what the hell's gonna happen in the future. I have no idea what's gonna happen. I might not even be here. I said this a couple weeks ago about Joel Embiid. I said the Philadelphia 76ers don't make it far in the playoffs. It is a time that we finally have the conversation about Joel Embiid and what do you do with him? Because the injuries, this man came in with injuries. And throughout his career, he's had injuries. So now the conversation that I'm just waiting for people to finally have is what the hell? What the hell is Joel Embiid? I think Joel Embiid, when he has been healthy at his best, he is one of the best centers in the league. You can't deny that. The boy can defend. The boy can score. The boy's one of the best defenders he's one of the best players in the NBA when he is healthy. But the biggest problem that Joel Embiid has had is that he's never been healthy. I can you gotta realize Joel Embiid's been in the league damn near like 10 years. Joel Embiid's been in the league for like 10 years. He's been in the league. I don't even think he's been in the league 10 years. I think it might be 11. Joel Embiid got drafted like 2013, 2014. Like, Joel's been in the league for a minute, bro. And I can count on my fucking hands how many times this motherfucker's played. I can count on my fingers how, like, one, two, like, how many years he's actually been physically healthy to play. Like, what, three? Maybe 3 years in his entire career? And then you had the bullshit with Ben Simmons that fucked his shit up. You had Jimmy Butler, who, if you now look at that situation, you probably should have kept Jimmy Butler, obviously, because him and Jimmy Butler had a great relationship. And Jimmy Butler actually wanted to fucking win. And you realize, and I will never forgive the Philadelphia 76ers GM then for thinking we're gonna keep Ben Simmons. I will never forgive the Philadelphia GM for saying we're gonna keep Ben Simmons over Jimmy Butler. No, we're gonna pay Tobias Harris over Jimmy Butler. Like, what the fuck are you watching? Over a winner, over actual genuine fucking winner. You're gonna keep. Let me let's make this make sense. You're gonna keep Tobias Harris over Jimmy Butler. Yeah, that didn't sound fucking stupid. Um, yeah, that was fucking dumb. Um, and you kept him over Ben Simmons. It's like you kept Ben Simmons over Jimmy Butler. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? Joel Embiid's career has been a simple, injury prone, just never got the right situation. It is either the team picking the wrong players over. I just told you, Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris over Jimmy Butler. It's like, the fuck are you doing? Or picking Doc Rivers to be the head coach. It's like, what the fuck are you? This man has been all of these places, and you still want to tell me Doc Rivers is a great head coach? Are you fucking kidding me? Or bringing in a GM only because to suit one fucking player. It's not even like you to fix one situation, which is James Harden. Why? Like, it just didn't make sense. Joel Embiid has been fucked over substantially by the team. Will a trade make a difference now in his career? No, it won't. And it fucking sucks because it won't actually fix anything. Joel Embiid has been hurt a lot in his career. I don't see it fixing anything because, again, if Philly's asking for too much, I'm not trading for Joel Embiid. But there's a couple of teams I can see him going to that keeps him somewhat upright for at least the playoffs. And those teams, if they're not asking for a severe, crazy amount of trades and assets, I could definitely see a team trading for Joel Embiid and just sitting them and letting them get itself right for the playoffs. Teams like the Dallas Mavericks. I can see the Dallas Mavericks trading for Joel Embiid. I know it sounds insane. You're like, Joel Embiid to Dallas. That don't make no fucking sense. The reason why I think that would actually make sense is because you don't have to play Joel Embiid all 82 games, all 65 games. You don't have to play him all 65 games. You just need him for the playoffs. I just need you for key games here and there. That's it. Phoenix. I can see Joel Embiid going to Phoenix. They got the young assets. They can do enough. They can make some trades. They can make some decisions. What's another team? What's another team? Utah. Now I don't know if Utah wants to trade for a guy that you clearly know is going to be out for a good stretch of time, especially when you're trying to get young. So I don't see Utah being a really good destination, especially when you just got Jared Jackson Jr. That don't make sense. I can see the Clippers, which sounds insane because I wouldn't make that trade. I would not do that trade at all, especially again if you're the Clippers, just like Utah, you're in a youth movement. Why would you want to then go get someone that you know is not going to be able to help you win right now? Yeah, there's not too many teams. Maybe Chicago, but I don't even see Chicago doing that deal. Like Joel Embiid is in a worse situation than what people think he is. Like you're trading for a guy you know is not going to probably play low balling it 32 games, 30, 35, 40 games. You know you already have an 82 game schedule. You know one of your players who you just traded for is basically going to miss 40, 45, 50 games. And it could be sporadically. He could miss 10 games the first game and then miss six throughout the next couple of months and then miss one big ass month of basketball. You just said it like, what the fuck? I don't know if that's a good idea. Would I have done that? Would I do that? No. But again, if you're a young team and you want to put asses in seats, going to Joel Embiid is not a crazy ass thought process. It all depends on if you want to put asses in seats. It really does. Sorry. But yeah. Speaking of teams that have got bounced, Togo State out their playoffs. Oh, Los Angeles, come on down. The Lakers are officially out of the playoffs. They got swept this past Monday to the Thunder. Ah, what y'all think the conversation's been since then? Hmm. The Lakers, here's the LeBron James has obviously been a conversation. All right, LeBron's been a conversation uh, since the ending of Monday night. I've said this about Kevin Durant a couple weeks ago. I said about LeBron James. Their legacies are cemented. There's nothing more you can do to their legacies. Their legacies are cemented. Excuse me. There's nothing more you can do with their legacies. All they can do now is either grow it more or basically it is what it is. Do I think LeBron James is done? No. LeBron James is a diva. I think he's a diva. I don't mean that in a bad way. Nigga just nigga just a diva. That nigga is not going to just abruptly in his career. That nigga wants flowers. He wants a fucking pictures to hang in his wall in his house. This he wants the works. He wants the Kobe farewell tour. He wants that. He wants to go around the league and everybody kiss his ass and tell him how great he was, and everybody in the media one last time tell everybody that, oh my God, I remember when LeBron played against Washington in this game. I remember when he played Detroit and had the 28-point game, and like he wants that. That's who he is. That's his ego. That nigga wants that. He's going to try to get that. So no, I do not think Monday was his last game. Fuck no. I do believe that this season is his last season. I think his 24th season is officially his last season. He's 42 years old. He will be 42 years old in December. You cannot continuously think he can play. You can't continuously think he can play this long and not have some deficiencies kick in. He's 42. He'll be 42 years old in December. 24 years in the league if he decides to come back. And the question that I will say is, what the fuck would he be coming back for? Because the one question that people don't have and probably don't want to talk about is simply this. LeBron at this time in his career, LeBron at this time in his career is a third option. LeBron at this time in his career is a third option. He is. He still wants to win a championship. That option now starts to dwindle. If you go to Cleveland, Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, then LeBron. Third option, but you're still a third option. You go to Detroit, if they don't make the move, Cade Cunningham, uh, LeBron's probably going to be second, but even in that sense, I can see Detroit making enough moves, especially if they lose this season, the way they're going to lose possibly. I can see Detroit definitely going to get more weapons. And so LeBron will probably be still a third, fourth option. But I think the team that is constructed at this time, LeBron's second and Jaden Durham is third. He goes to the Knicks, he's the fourth option. Jalen Brunson, Karl-Anthony Towns, OG Anunoby, then LeBron. He goes to the Thunder, he's on the bench. Like he's on the bench. Like I don't even think you're a 6, 7, 8 man. Like you might be like 10th, 11th. Like I don't think people understand. Like if LeBron goes to a championship winning, the more he says I want to be on a championship winning team, the more his opportunities to be the guy fucking dwindles. And if you heard him in the press conference, he's like, yeah, I got a chance. I had to play certain positions that I've never played ever in my career or in my life. That shit fucked him up. Like he didn't expect the team to tell him he's a third fucking option. But I want to say something that Kendrick Perkins said, and I actually believe what Kendrick Perkins said, and it's actually fucking true. LeBron has nowhere to go. He has to be in LA. He has nowhere to go. And people will sit there and think that's a lie and think people are just hating. That's not hate, bro. That's honesty. LeBron has nowhere to go. He either is going to be in Detroit, or he's either going to be with the Lakers, or his options dwindle quickly. His options dwindle quickly. The NBA does. I think somebody yesterday was trying to be like, "Well, the NBA still moves on LeBron time." No, the fuck it doesn't. Giannis is the big fish. If Giannis doesn't get traded, or if when he gets traded, that's when everything starts to move. Giannis gets traded, then maybe Joel Embiid. Then and now we're having a different conversation about every single fucking player now moving forward. LeBron is not the end all be all of the NBA movements anymore. And I think that's why a lot of people are having a hard time understanding this shit. But LeBron, again, like I said, if LeBron's sitting there telling everybody, I want to go to a contender, I want to win a championship, I want to be still, hey, bro, your options dwindle very fucking quickly because now teams don't really need you. And now they know you're 42. This is your 24th season. If you watched him this year, the one thing about LeBron when he was at his peak was LeBron was one of the best defensive players. He was the best defensive option you had. But on top of that, he was also one of your best offensive options you had. He can make plays, he can score, he can do all these things. So now that he's getting older, you're not asking him to be the guy anymore. Which questions, which again goes into, so what the fuck are you bringing them in for? Depending on how you perceive LeBron James, depending on how you perceive LeBron James, LeBron is either the greatest basketball player you've ever seen. He's top three. Some people might not even have him in the top five or even in the top 10. To me, LeBron is fourth. LeBron's fourth. Uh, fourth with a possible. Listen, I can make the case for Tim Duncan. I can make the case for Tim Duncan. I can tell people why I would have Tim Duncan in front of LeBron. I can easily tell people why I would have Tim Duncan in front of LeBron. Tim Duncan's first time winning a ring was his rookie year, 1999. His rookie year, he won the NBA Finals. Now, granted, when he won the NBA Finals, it was a shortened year. That was the 50 game season NBA lockout. But compared to LeBron's bubble ring, I can let that slide. Tim Duncan had to go up against in the early 2000s. People don't remember how great the early 2000s really was. Tim Duncan had to go up against any given night. Tim Duncan had to go up against Chris Webber, Kevin Garnett, Rasheed Wallace, Dirk Nowitzki. Sometimes he had to play center. And had to go up against. Sometimes he had to play center and had to guard Shaq, Yao Ming. Like bro, like people don't understand. Like bro, Tim Duncan had to go through some shit to get to where he's at today, man. Karl Malone, yeah, yeah. Like I don't think people understand, bro. I don't think people understand, bro. Tim Duncan won 5 championships in one organization. Tim Duncan has beaten LeBron James for 2 of those 5 championships. He swept them in 2007 and beat him in a gentleman's sweep in 2014. And it wasn't for Ray Allen's game 6 shot, he probably would have beat LeBron then. That's why I say I can make a case for Tim Duncan. Now, Brandon, who else would you have in front of LeBron? Well, Michael Jordan, obviously. MJ's one, bro. And I think people that get this twisted, people always say it's the rings. Not for me. It's not just the rings. Michael Jordan was feared. Like, I mean, Kobe was feared. Mike made motherfuckers terrified. Michael Jordan terrified motherfuckers. I don't think you hear how people talk about Mike. Michael Jordan, Michael Jordan made motherfuckers petrified. Like these niggas were eyes like, what the fuck? They did not want to play that fucking dude. They were like, yeah, Mike, man, I saw somebody talk shit to Mike once. Them niggas talking about that shit. You know talking about Michael Jordan. They were like, yeah, I saw a nigga talk shit to Michael Jordan once. And then like the next 20 minutes, niggas just went off. Niggas just went off. I don't know what happened. I don't know. He was here, and then that nigga was here. Like, I don't know what happened. I've never, bro, nobody in the history of life will ever be talked about like that. That nigga was feared, bro. That nigga made people terrified. Oh my God. Ah, man, look here, man. Look here, man. That shit. Hearing stories about Mike is probably my favorite thing on the planet. Because sometimes you just be hearing these stories and you just sitting there like, yo, this is insane. Mike had motherfuckers terrified. Terrified. Oh man. What Mad Max said? When somebody nigga asked him, you ever see somebody get the abuse? He said, hell yeah. Hell yeah, I see somebody get the abuse. Like it's to see that shit, man. Look here, man. Yeah, man. Mike is one. Now a lot of people always say, "Oh, it's just the 6 rings." No, it's not. Mike had motherfuckers terrified. Like to speak of his name. Like, bro, Mike had niggas. His own teammates were scared of him. Like this man was just different. Absolutely, positively different. Well, Brandon, who's two? Kobe. Like I said, if Mike had motherfuckers terrified, Kobe had motherfuckers shook. Cause Kobe had niggas shook. It was different, man. Different levels to this shit. Kobe was different, man. Kobe was insanely different, bro. For someone to be considered the closest thing to Michael Jordan and not and live up to it. See, this is a difference. Live up to it. How you don't give Kobe that same grace is insane. This is why when I hear people try to downplay Kobe's career, it's just like, bro, either you wasn't there or you didn't see this shit, or you flat out are just choosing to be ignorant. You're choosing to be ignorant. And Steph Curry is third. I've said this numerous times. I don't think people understand how the game changed because of Steph Curry. Steph Curry changed the NBA. He changed it. And I don't mean that like on some like line. No, Steph Curry changed the league. Like I have said, I've seen shooters my whole life. I've seen Reggie Miller, Ray Allen, Peja Stojakovic. I've seen Steve Kerr, Robert Horry. I've seen guys that can come in, shoot the ball, and change the game. It's a whole different conversation when you watch Steph Curry. Not only change the game, but change how teams built their team. Like he changed franchises because people were starting to look for a Steph Curry type because that style of basketball was winning now. Reggie was great, but Reggie never won. And that's the thing. Like if Reggie was winning in the 90s, it'll be a way different conversation. But the fact that Steph Curry was the one to actually get it done and then to be a 6 foot point guard. Come on now. Shit was insane. And Steph Curry's peak was better than LeBron's. That's why I have Steph Curry in front of LeBron. And I feel like when we have this conversation about LeBron, like I said, LeBron's legacy is the one that's going to be looked at the most. Because when you look at LeBron's legacy, the conversation of him winning rings is going to come up. I don't know where the fuck stats and records came into who's the greatest basketball player, the greatest of all time. I don't know where the fuck this came from. Michael Jordan is 6-0 in the finals. You can't change that. No matter how you want to slice it or dice it, you can't change it. But if you want to talk about his peers, okay, let's talk about LeBron's peers. Steph Curry has been to 6 finals in his career. He's won 4 and lost 2. Lost to the Cavs in 2016 and lost to the Toronto Raptors in 2019. That's it. That's it. So in LeBron's era, Steph Curry's won 4 rings, the same amount as LeBron James. More importantly, he's beat LeBron 3 out of those 4 times. Now people are gonna try to sit here and say, "Well, he had Kevin Durant. How could you?" No, we're not about to do that. We're not about to do that because if that's the case, then LeBron had Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh for his first 2 fucking rings, and then he had Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love for his last ring, and then he had Anthony Davis. You want to play that game? Because we can play that game. I can start listing niggas that LeBron's fucking had. Don't play that game with me. Oh, but Kevin Durant's better than all of them. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. And when you sit there and say Kevin Durant's better than all of them, are we going off of just the basketball talent? Or are we going off of the actual player itself? Because if we're saying he's better than them, I don't know about that. I don't know. Kevin Durant's not really a great defender. Anthony Davis is. This is why I say. So even in the LeBron era, Steph Curry beat you 3 out of the 4 times y'all met. Kawhi Leonard has 2 rings in the LeBron era. One of those rings, he beat you. See, the thing about this situation, and again, people will sit there and say, oh, man, Steph Curry had Kevin Durant. Y'all realize LeBron James went back to Cleveland. Cleveland, who had the #1 pick in the draft, drafted Andrew Wiggins and was cool with having Andrew Wiggins, Kyrie Irving. And then LeBron came back and told them to trade Andrew Wiggins to get Kevin Love. Kevin Love, by the way, who was already a all-star and a 20 and 10 player. See, people that talk about Kevin Love, oh, Kevin Love was man, Kevin Love wasn't like that. Kevin Love was a 20 and 10 player and was the face of a franchise. And the only reason why they traded him in Minnesota is because he went to them and said, "You can't build anything here with me. Just let me go." Y'all sit here and praise LeBron and tell everybody that LeBron's the greatest thing on the planet. LeBron has used a lot of fuck shit to get to where he's at today. Stop that shit. This is why a lot of people kind of a little bit iffy on LeBron. But y'all want to bang on the table and scream he's the greatest thing since sliced fucking bread. Sure. Sure. Tim Duncan, right? We're talking about greatness. His contemporaries. Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan's been to 6 finals in his career. 6. He's only lost 1. 1. And that was 2013. That's it. That's it. That's the only one. No, it's 2013. That's it. Kobe. Kobe's been to 7 NBA finals. He won 5, lost 2. Boston, or Detroit, then Boston. Larry Bird. Larry Bird's been to, want to say, let's say 5 finals? He's won 3, lost 2. Lost to the Lakers twice, but he beat the Rockets twice and beat the Lakers once. Magic's been to 9 finals. He won 5, lost 4. Lost to the Pistons. Yeah, I think Magic. Yeah, I think the Magic lost. Yeah, 4 finals. He lost to the Pistons. He lost to the Celtics. I think he lost to the Bulls. He lost to the Pistons, the Celtics, and the Bulls. And I think he lost one to Philly. I can't remember. I think he lost one to Philly too. Yeah, I think he lost one to Philly. But he's won 5 finals. We're gonna talk about greatness, and we're gonna put LeBron in the conversation of the GOAT. He's the greatest player of all time. Finals is what make you the GOAT, not stats and records. So for LeBron James to have a records NBA Finals record of 4-6, but y'all kept screaming, but he got there 10 straight. I don't give a fuck how many times he got there. Did he win it? To have more losses, to have the same amount of losses in the finals that Michael Jordan has wins, should automatically tell you that he ain't the GOAT. That shit's insane. You niggas want to get this nigga a participation trophy for just getting there. And then you get swept again. I saw this stat and I was like, that's insane. Michael Jordan's only be swept twice in his entire career in the playoffs. That's insane. That's it. LeBron's been swept 4 times. Now, before people sit there and say, well, he played against nobodies and he got swept. No. Let me explain why it's a difference. Let me tell you why. LeBron, since he has entered into the league, has never had to worry about a 5-game series. When Mike played in the 80s, when he got to the playoffs, the first round was 5. I think the first 2 rounds were 5 games. There wasn't a game 4 and a game. No. And then on top of that, Mike had no one on his team. He was the only fucking piece on the team. So when people sit here and try to play this game of who's the greatest of all time, it's LeBron or is it Mike? It's Mike by a wide margin. Then it's Kobe. LeBron's legacy is already set in stone. The question really will become, Where do you place him? And like I said, if I was the person, he's fourth, fifth. He's fourth or he's fifth. That's where I place him personally. He's fourth, he's fifth. He's like Kevin Durant. Where it's like, bro, like you've already done everything you can do to cement your legacy. And there's nothing more you can physically fucking do. The Thunder and the Knicks have officially went to the Western Conference and Eastern Conference Finals, respectively. The Knicks swept the Philadelphia 76ers. The Thunder swept the Lakers. Out of those two teams, who who has a shot to get to the NBA Finals? It's the Knicks. It's the Knicks. Depending on who comes out of the series between the Spurs and the Timberwolves, that's how I'm going to determine who could, if the Thunder can make it to the finals. Because I think as good as the Thunder are, the Spurs give the Thunder so many problems. Spurs give the Thunder a problem, bro. And Victor Wembanyama is not afraid of Chet Holmgren. That's a massive problem. There's no one that can stop Victor Wembanyama when he's on. You're seeing it now with this playoff series with the Timberwolves. Nobody can stop him. When he's on, he's on. And as good as Chet Holmgren is, he doesn't have the physical ability to stop Victor Wembanyama. He doesn't have it. And then Victor Wembanyama causes a lot of fucking problems for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander because Shai Gilgeous-Alexander plays into the fouls. So now you got a rim protector that's sitting there waiting for you to come into the paint, and you ain't trying to get your shit blocked. So now you're taking unnecessary shots that don't need to be forced. If they had maybe Jalen Williams, I would probably be a little bit more like, okay, let's see how this looks. But we don't know if he's going to be able to play. And that's where the fuck the problem lies. If he was healthy, and he's got a couple days to get healthy, maybe the Thunder wins. Maybe. Because I don't think the Spurs have that third element of their team yet. I like Stephon Castle, but they don't have that third element. Like, say Gilgis, Chad Holmgren, they already got their hands full. They don't have anyone that's a third option, just in case Victor's off or Stephon's off. They don't have a third option. You can say it's Dylan Harper, but is it? You can say it's Devin Vassell, but is it? That's the thing. When the Thunder have a third option, like a Jalen Williams, and he's healthy, that's a different conversation. And I don't think the Spurs have that just yet. When I look at this from that perspective, that's why I feel like the Thunder could pull it off. But if Minnesota is the team that makes it to the Western Conference finals against the Thunder, man, I love Anthony Edwards, but he gonna get blown the fuck out the building. He doesn't have enough. They don't have enough. Minnesota does not have enough. And we saw it last year. Anthony Edwards is great, but they don't have enough to physically stop the OKC Thunder. They don't have it. They don't have enough to do it. You're running into a massive problem. And as great as Anthony Edwards is, he can't do it all on his own. So, like I said, it depends on who comes out that series. If it's the Spurs, that shit going 7, and it's a problem. And the Spurs could probably pull it off. If it's the Timberwolves, Thunder win in 5. They win in 4, win in 5. The reason why I said the Knicks, though, is because I don't give a shit who comes out the East. Detroit is so fucking weird. They're a weird fucking team. I'm waiting for them to actually be the team that I expected them to be. And don't get it twisted. I think Cade Cunningham will have a way easier series against Jalen Brunson than he's having against James Harden. Sounds insane to say that. But I think Cade Cunningham will have a more relaxed feeling. I think Detroit, a lot of people saying, oh, the regular season don't mean anything. No, it does mean something. I think Detroit punked the shit out the Knicks. And I think they know they can punk the shit out the Knicks. I don't think they're afraid of the Knicks. I think they can definitely beat the Knicks. But they have to get there. And I don't think they're going to get there. And I've been a Pistons fan all year. It's just like, I just don't see it. I don't see how you get there. Because, again, you have to beat Cleveland. And the way you're playing this series, oh, my God. The first two games, it looked like, yeah, Detroit's going to easily win this shit. The last two games, I'm like, what the fuck is this? It's like the Orlando series all over again. It's like they need a kick in the ass. And that right there makes me feel a little bit on edge. Now, I will say this. If the Knicks can't get OG Anunoby back healthy, that's a dangerous situation. Because now you're putting Mikal Bridges on Cade Cunningham, and all they got to do is switch. Boom, switch. Boom, switch. Boom, switch. And now Jalen Brunson has to guard Cade Cunningham. So this is why I say Detroit needs to end this shit as fast as they physically fucking can. If they think they have a chance to get to the NBA Finals. For the Cavaliers, I don't trust James Harden in big moments. I don't trust him. For people that sit there saying, well, you need to trust him because look at what. No. Donovan Mitchell is why the Cleveland Cavaliers have won the last two games. James Harden ain't done shit. And people that say, oh, well, James hit the game-winning jumper. Donovan Mitchell is the one that's putting the fucking work in. Donovan Mitchell is the one that's making this shit work. The quicker you start to realize that, the better it will be for everyone. Donovan Mitchell has finally showed the fuck up. About time. It's been a minute. Where the fuck you been? And that, to me, is how the Cleveland Cavaliers are going to win the playoff, win this series. Is if Donovan Mitchell is Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell is still the best player in the series. I like Cade Cunningham, but Donovan Mitchell has been in the playoffs. He's been in these situations. He knows how to get himself going, motivated. He needed to wake the fuck up. Will he keep that same energy? Will he still be that same player? Now on the road, we shall see. We shall see. But if I'm looking at it from the perspective of the Knicks, who do I want to see in a second round? Probably the Cavaliers. But even in that sense, even though I said I think the Cavs could get to the playoff, I think the Knicks could get to the finals. The Knicks don't have an easy ass way to get there either. Like, because I'm looking at it from the perspective of, again, if you have no OG Anunoby, you're putting Jalen Brunson into a situation where he's now going to have to do more. Not just offensively, but defensively. And teams are going to pick on him. Donovan Mitchell is going to pick on him. James Harden is going to pick on him. You can't have two defenders. The reason why the Philadelphia 76ers lost that series is because as great as Tyrese Maxey is, Paul George has never really been that playoff guy in damn near a decade, like decade plus now. We now know that. You're asking a rookie like VJ Edgecombe to do something that he's not used to. It was a lot of pressure. And then again, Joel Embiid not being there. The reason why teams have not caught the fucking Knicks yet is because you haven't put enough pressure on their defense. And the reason why you're not winning these series, and this is why I say again, Detroit is such a weird situation, because Detroit can put the pressure on their defense. So can Cleveland. Cleveland could put the pressure on the Knicks defense. This is why I keep saying people keep screaming, "Oh, the Knicks are going to the finals," even though I said the Knicks have the better chance to get there. If you are the Knicks, you probably want Detroit to get there, get to the Eastern Conference Finals, because you know we could devise a plan to kind of slow down Cade Cunningham. We can't slow down James Harden and Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. We don't have that type of team. And plus, on top of that, you probably have to force Karl Anthony Towns to play power forward, which is actually playing into Evan Mobley's situation, which is now you're putting you're putting Karl Anthony Towns on Evan Mobley? Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think that's a good idea at fucking all. And that's the thing. If you're looking at it from the perspective of that, even though I said the Knicks is the better team that could probably get to the NBA Finals, if it's Cleveland, that's a lot of pressure on Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns. It's a lot of fucking pressure. And of course, if Donovan Mitchell, like I said, if Donovan Mitchell finally has got that edge back, if he finally got that energy back, that's a dangerous situation. Who makes it to the NBA Finals? We don't know. But who makes it to the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference Finals? Got two teams, Thunder, Knicks. And the rest, after today and I think tomorrow, we will find out. If the Spurs win tomorrow, it will be the Thunder and the Spurs for the Western Conference Finals. And of course, after tonight, we will see where the series goes from there. But until then, I am Brandon Janeau. This is I Believe Sports. If you guys enjoyed this, peace.